Hi, I'm Jaime de Boudbon de Parme. I'm the Climate Envoy of the Netherlands. And as a Climate Envoy, I'm between politicians, so I replace the Prime Minister and ministers abroad, but also help the negotiators who try to come with a good outcome here at the COP. But my biggest job is trust. I build trust. Politicians sometimes have to polarize and make decisions. And on the other hand, negotiators are really fighting with each other to come with an outcome, and there's many differences that are fighting each other. And I'm looking in the middle to see how can we collaborate together. So I'm looking at coalition of the willing, countries that can move forward faster, private sector that comes with solutions, and that builds trust on solutions, and that's how we can move forward. So as a diplomat, I love the left, I love the right. I just try to see how can I work with them best. So the left is wonderful to have social focused ambitions and all those kind of things, but the right is very good in implementation. So we moved in the Netherlands with a very clear climate ambition, and we're now moving in implementation, and with the right-wing government, I could sell it by saying we need energy security, we need, which is often renewable energy, we need water security, and the Netherlands is very good in water management globally, so we can make money on this as well. We can work on transport. We're a massive transport hub, and we need sustainable fuels, alternative fuels as well, and that will make us more resilient. And lastly, we are important in food systems. We're the third exporter of food in the world because we're a trade hub. So also that needs to be sustainable globally, that these food systems keep working. And that's good for feeding the world, feeding us, but also for transport and for our position as a hub. So suddenly the right thinks, well, this is a great story. I want you to continue on this. So I noticed that the left set the standards and has the social aspect of it, and the right has many solutions to come forward. So as a diplomat, bringing these two together brings us forward. So the Netherlands is an actor on the global stage because we are a trading nation. And we are also a very big investor. We're very big institutional investors. Think of the big pension funds. We have amongst the biggest pension funds in the world. And these invest not in the Netherlands, they invest in Europe, and more in the rest of the world as well. So not just in the global north. And there's a new fund set up in the Netherlands because many big investors don't know how to invest in the global south. They just don't know where the risks are. And who does that already? Those are the multilateral development banks. And so they are doing it. So now we are linking our pension funds to the multilateral development funds and make them invest through them in the global south. So that's one new avenue where we find solutions. And we went now for 1.7 billion euros that is now invested through multilateral development banks in the global south from our portfolio. And that's just a fraction of our pension funds. So it could be way more in the future. So these are innovative ways how we try to play a global role. So we do a lot of things all over the place. So I made a very simple overview. We have mitigation. So how do we avoid globally the emissions? We have adaptation, how do we adapt, and climate finance. That's the Paris Agreement. On mitigation, we said there's two things we're really good at. One is energy transition. We'll be the big importer of green hydrogen globally because we are, again, a transport hub to Germany and other countries. So 70% of the hydrogen to Europe will come through through the Netherlands, the port of Rotterdam. The second bit of mitigation is transport, so new fuels. And then on adaptation, it's water management and food systems. So basically those areas I told you before, that's our strategy. And then on climate finance, we leverage private sector finance. So we put $1 billion of government money, grant-based, on mitigation adaptation for the global south, for the rest of the world. But we leverage $1.4 billion from the private sector also to climate finance. So that's the things we try to do as the Netherlands. So the despair of the youth, we talk about tree shakers and jam makers. Jam makers are people that can actually work on the solution of the problems. But if you can't work on the solutions, you're often frustrated, and then you shake the tree. But if you shake the tree, the fruit falls of the tree, and you can make jam again. So it's one ecosystem. We need activists on one hand. It's very functional to push us forward, and who have vision and drive. And we need, on the other hand, people who can actually work on the solutions to work forward. And ideally for the climate youth, I like them to work on both sides. I want them to be activists, but also part of the solution. So we have two people from the youth movement in our delegation as part of the formal negotiation delegation to bring their perspective of the next generations into our positions here at the COP. And we try to, our climate youth has twice a year a meeting with our Minister of Climate and Energy So we have a lot of embedded systems to bring the youth closer to the jam making and not just to the tree shaking. There's many justice principles, and that's one of them. And I agree that... Sorry?
My question will disappear.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So, there's a principle of justice, many principles of justice, and one of them is make the polluter pay. Another one is the broadest shoulders to take the bigger challenges. And so there's many justice principles, and it's always good to see which framework are you using to look at issues, and they all have merit. And then there is a difference between what ideally we'd like to have and what practically is feasible. And somewhere there in the middle, we need to find that sweet spot of ambition that is really stretching us, but it's still feasible and sustainable over time, that the electorate, electing your politicians, will follow this policy in the future. I'm always a diplomat. I always look for a mix to see how we can use the middle ground for action.